Got a delivery. Mr. Palmar. Guess that one's a bust. So we can turn it around. Oh, that's cool. I can turn it around. Wonder how long it'll let me do it live. Anyway, I'm out here serving and playing with YouTube. So if you're stumbling upon this, it's not very, I'm not very prepared. So bear with me. My thought was, if you're following me, like a giant tarantula on the ground. Oh, it's a bird. Check this out. I think it might have fallen from the ground. Check this poor little guy. Oh, wow. That's something you don't see every day. I feel like talking like an Australian right now. Look at it go under the car. Anyways, I got people to serve. So, flip it back around. So when I'm out here serving, I carry a clipboard, right? One of the reasons is I want to be able to separate myself from any animal or person temporarily. Yeah. Had a couple dogs come out of the yard after me a minute ago, and just putting this clipboard up in front of their face, and they didn't know what to do. I think they thought I was gonna run. So if you don't have a Prius, check this out. I just have to have the key in my pocket, and watch this. It unlocks the car. It's been like 90 degrees here in Chico, California, but we've been getting it done. That's how you gotta roll. So just now, I just came in here, and this is one of my collection cases, and let's see, I want to get blown out here. It's one of my collection cases. So, you know, with the collection cases, a lot of times you get an address, and they have pretty decent addresses because they use the same skip tracing technology that I do. But I'm not a big fan of their, you know, the collection cases, because a lot of times people are they're usually medical bills, and the people are like, what is this all about? You know, they have no idea. But they're easy money, so I usually don't charge too much for them. So what I do when I get back to the car is right away I write down my date and time minus the 2 minutes it took me to get back to the car. So today's the 5th, 6:03, so I'll put 6:01 p.m. And what you might want to do is carry a watch so you can check the time exactly, because nowadays with cameras and things like that, people will catch you, and if you sign a proof of service under penalty of perjury that you were at the door at a certain time and you weren't actually there at that time, then you're lying. So you can be caught in perjury pretty easy if the opposing counsel that's deposing you has a plan like that. So in this case, I'm going to put no answer. I'd like to say I went to the neighbors, but this is this weird apartment situation where the address is on this side, but they all share one address. And actually, there were 2 addresses at one door. Number 8 and number 9 were in one door. So I feel like it's like they have one entryway, and then the 2 different units have a code for the front door, which is weird, but whatever. So after I put it down on paper, I always put it into my system. I use Serve Manager. Different people use different things. But let's see if I can do that. When I haven't served it, I don't, and that whole time that the screen wasn't up. If it wasn't, welcome back. I was putting my details into Serve Manager. So let me turn it around here. So what I like to do This is I should have named this Right Along with Mike, because that's kind of what we're doing here. So now I come back to my iPad. Can't really see this, but I'm going to check into the current address. I'm going to check the next address, and I'm going to hit go. Navigate. Brings up my Waze navigation. I hit go. So because I already put it in the system, I literally just have to set my new address. You know, I just have to hit next, basically, and we're off to the races. So, and then I put them in order. I have a pile here. I have it in order, so the next serve is the next one on here. So I'm gonna fashion my own little fancy thing here and see if I can make this bigger for you. Make this stick out more. So you guys, when you're out here serving, you got to be really cautious. When I use the clipboard, I don't expect that it's going to keep some ravenous dog from biting me. My goal is to have it give me a few extra seconds to get away to get to my car, if that makes sense. Let's see if that works. I don't think it will, actually. Okay, well, I need to buy some new mount stuff to make this a little bit better for you guys, but for now, this is what we're rolling with. See my beautiful mug. So you always want to make sure you're watching where you're driving. The worst fear that I have when I'm out here serving is that I'm going to run over somebody's princess. I have a beautiful princess. It's 6 years old, and I cannot tell you, if something happened to her, I don't know what I would do. And so I think about that when I'm driving in other neighborhoods. You know, what if it was my baby? You know, what if it was my girl out there? Okay, go this way. So we'll talk about a couple things here. If you're a process server and you're out here serving, first of all, if you're listening to this and you're not a member of Server Nation, you gotta go get your membership of Server Nation, like right now. First of all, servernation.us is a directory for process servers, and right now it's free when you sign up. It's always going to have one free level. I have featured levels and stuff like that, but just go get your free membership, servernation.us. But there's also a Facebook group called Server Nation. And Server Nation Facebook group is one of the most active groups on Facebook, including everything, including fashion. Like, I have daily posts on there that ask questions. Sometimes they're pretty random questions, but I've automated it. I went through and created like 300 questions, and now I just have it auto-posting with social media auto-posting tools. So if you're interested in learning about automation, again, PSD University is the best place to go. But, so here I am driving. I got my drink. I drink diet soda. One of the things you have to worry about when you're out serving, if you're serving every day and you get to be pretty successful, is your health. Because what happens is you end up eating food that's not good for you. Changing lanes, folks. Yep, changing lanes. You end up eating food that's not good for you, and because you're on the go. And so a lot of people, they go ahead and prepare some stuff to eat while they're on the road. And what I try to do is I time my day so that I can eat well, eat healthy, if you will, and still be able to get out and get stuff done. So I usually go in the morning, I get to work, and I usually do like a 6 o'clock in the morning till like noon every day. And then that's in the office, building my empire, right? And then from noon, I leave at noon to go have lunch at home. And then after lunch, I go and I start serving all my daytime stuff. And then once I have all my daytime stuff, I might go back home. I might do a little bit of sales. After I've done my daytime serves, your subpoenas, your daytime business serves, maybe you're dropping off conformed copies from a courthouse. Maybe you're doing court filings in an out-of-town court. That's what I do. We actually go all the way from Redding, Shasta area, all the way down to Yuba City. So, Sutter area. So, sometimes I'll end up getting in the car and I'll just go for a cruise. I love driving and cruising around. If I do it every day, it gets kind of old, but at least 3 or 4 times a week, I'm driving to another town, and then for the evening, I'll have a couple hour little break, and then for the evening, I'll do like a 5:30 to 7:30, and if I get a big day, like today, it's a pretty decent stack, then I'll be out till sometimes 9 o'clock at night. I don't like serving past 9 o'clock. It's just my personal preference. You can serve almost any time of the day depending on the area that you're living in. But I just enjoy getting out there and knocking on doors, meeting new people. The funny thing is we're serving some of the hardest peoples and then some of the softest people, some of the nicest. So I always try to keep that in mind, and if I see someone that has a real nice lawn or maybe they have a nice car in the driveway, I talk to them a little bit, and I try to teach people not to do that too much, because you have to filter it and know when you can do it and when you can't. And the trouble is not many people can do that. Even myself, sometimes I'm like, ooh, I should have left earlier than I did. I had this Marine guy the other day that mooned me. I've got a picture of it and everything. And he was nice. Well, he wasn't nice. He was upset and cussing and stuff, but he wasn't mad at me. And then he shifted his anger to me because I stuck around too long. So you just got to think about, as you're going out there and you're serving, you got to think, what is really my goal? What is my job? And just remind yourself. And that's what I try to do. It doesn't mean you have to be a jerk, but it does mean that you have to be quick about it. Get in, get out. Thank you very much. Take care. And just leave, Now, for those of you that don't know the industry, let me just tell you. So when you get out there and you go to serve somebody, you need to identify yourself so that they don't shoot you. I mean, so many people just start asking questions like they have some kind of authority, like, oh, you see my badge. Oh, you see my cool shades and my ID badge here, so you should start answering my questions. No, you have to identify yourself. I will say their name first. I'll say Julie or John, and I'll try to get a positive response, like, yeah, so that I have confirmation that I'm dealing with the right person. But other than that, I mean, you want to make sure you identify yourself so that they don't just assume that you're some nefarious person that's trying to cause them harm, right? So you identify yourself, you identify them. And one thing that a lot of people get hung up on is like, I don't know for sure if it's them. Well, this is my philosophy. If you go knock on the door and somebody's like, okay, who are you? And you're like, I'm Michael, the process server. And they're like, well, I don't want it. Well, you said you were so-and-so, and or are you so-and-so? And they say, I don't have to tell you. You know that it's them. You don't have to question if it's them. You already know. Now, maybe it's not. Maybe they're just jerks in general, and they don't want to, they just don't want to tell you. So my philosophy is just serve them, okay? They might be upset, they might call the police, they might do all kinds of things. But the truth is, if they're not going to tell you who they are, then you might as well assume it's them. Now, what you do is you assume it's them because of the way they're acting. You serve them, and then you go do your research, okay? You don't want to just do a proof of service when you don't really know if it was them or not. All right, let's see, 1217. Wants me to go way back over here. All right, so I'm at my next serve here. This whole area I'm serving tonight is mostly apartment complexes, which is a pain. It's cool if you check and you make sure the different the different space numbers and stuff. But if you don't know for sure what space or what apartment number you're going to and where it's at, you could waste a lot of time. So Making sure you stay safe out there. Making sure you use the proper tools. It makes all the difference. I love my car because, you know, I'm definitely like the GTO, Charger, Challenger kind of guy. But this Prius, I have had it. It's kind of top. It has like a pretty good clearance underneath. And I've had it in bushes. I've had it in the mud. I actually drove it through a river. And it tore out the bottom plastic part of my car. And plastic piece. I forget what it's called. Cowl. I think it's called a cowl. Cowl? Something like that. Anyway, it protects the inside of the car from whatever mud and stuff will fling up in there. So, but this river was going, and I had already driven like an hour up into the hills. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna try to see if I can drive up this hill. So I drive all the way up in there, and then I see this river, and I'm like, crap. And I could see a bunch of houses with addresses, you know, mailboxes and stuff. So I was like, I know I'm almost there. So I was like, screw it. And it was moving, like you could see water moving, you know, where it's like probably 2 or 3 feet deep. And I thought, I could tell cars had driven through it because there was like trail marks, you know, where there's water and stuff. So I thought, screw it, I'm gonna try it. So I got myself a running start. I felt like a crazy madman, but I thought, I gotta do this thing. If I'm gonna do it, I gotta do it. So here I am at my next address. Got some folks outside next door. The car that was here last time is not here. Scoping these kind of things out. I just got a phone call. Let's see here. I'm gonna switch you around. All right. Got a delivery. Huh. Hello? Got a delivery? For Jeff? Huh. All right. Well, you guys, I'm gonna see somebody here eventually. So I think this is the second time I've come here in the evening. So what you have to do is, I like to do 2 evening attempts, but then after that, like I'll do an early evening and then a late evening, and then I'll start my mornings, my afternoons. Then on my 5th attempt, I'll either do another evening, or I'll see, you know, what the situation is. In this case, every time, 2 times I've come in the evening, there's nobody answering. I don't see any sign of anything going on inside. I know somebody lives here, because the belongings I can see are there, but yeah, so we're gonna have to add this one to the daytime route. The other thing to note, which is nice when you have collection cases, is if the customer does their own skips, is they give you a work address. So I have a work address. The problem with the work address in this case is, well, in all cases, is that if it's the work address for the wife, you can't serve the husband there or sub-serve the husband there. You can serve, you could sub-serve, I should say the spouse, because it could be the husband's work. But basically, if you go there to serve the husband, you can't sub-serve the wife there if she doesn't work there. So, in California, anyways. So, I'll write down my notes here. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in Serve Manager. So that's done. All right, on to the next one. I paused to put something into another app. If it turns this app back on, or if you're like staring at my face for 2 minutes, we'll see what happens. Technology is great, but it has to be tested. Again, I'm in a community, so I want to watch my backing up and all that jazz. All right. So I've had some people ask me recently, they said, Mike, how come you don't just pay other people to do your serves for you? And there's a couple reasons why. Because I do have some servers that cover for me, right? Because I have to, in order to maintain a high service level where people are happy with the amount of attempts I'm doing and all that, is whenever I can't make it north, because I'm planning to go south, then I'll have somebody else handle that north while I go south, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's how I do the routing. Now this is interesting. So right now I'm leaving, there's this red car going by, and I always wonder, is this person, the luck of the draw? And there's been quite a few times, I want to say at least half the times, where I was there to serve them and they weren't home, and then as I was leaving, a car was going, to the place I was at, down the street I was leaving from, and I thought, just maybe. And there's been about 5 out of 10 times, which is, I think, pretty good odds, and it's kind of lucky, I think, but still, it's just an interesting thing I wanted to share with you guys. So now what I do is, if I was going to serve a guy, I look to see, is it a guy? If it's a guy, I'm turning around. Or if I was going to serve a girl, and it's a girl, I'm like, oh, it's a girl, I'm turning around. And then that way, it saves me a little bit of maybe that's why I have pretty good luck a little bit. So, alright, so this next one is in, a guy on this street actually got shot last week. Douglas. 2nd Avenue, number 13. Yeah, this is the one. So a guy got shot. I'm turning here. It's off of Columbus and Chico. You can look it up, Columbus Avenue. Guy got shot out there just messing around. So what I try to do is, I always, whenever I go to these areas, I try to go during the day when there's plenty of daylight. Not that bad things can't happen during the day, but I feel like I have a little bit, there's a little better chance. The creeps come out at night, basically, and they're sleeping right now. I know it's already 6:30, but, during the summertime, it's daylight at 8:50, So, but anyways, we have to make this attempt over here, so let's take a cruise over here. I don't actually wear a bulletproof vest. I do carry a .38 pistol. And just something small, just something that'll get the job done. I used to carry a shotgun in the back. I haven't done that for a while. So let's see. So it tells me it's over there, but the GPS is wrong. I've already beat my head against the wall trying to find this place once. So let me just make sure. 630 West 2nd. 630 West 2nd. Nope, that's not it. For some reason, it brought me over here. Shasta. That's weird. Because I already served that cat. I remember now. Alright, well, let's maybe trust the GPS here for a second. 630 West 2nd. Yeah, so I see what happened. So I thought I knew where I was going. Once you get into that autopilot mode, you could zoom around 20, 30 different places and not even realize you were going to the wrong place until you go and knock on the door and ask for a guy, and they're like, I have no idea who that is. I've actually done that once. My serves got out of order, and I went to knock on this door. Go ahead. You're walking out there anyway with your little tiny dog. Cracks me up, big 500-pound guy who's got this little tiny chihuahua. A little snack. It cracks me up when I make fat jokes because I am a fat guy. I've lost a lot of weight, but you know, it's still funny. Even when I was at my fattest, you know, I still joked about fat jokes. I think people take stuff too seriously. You gotta live life with a little bit of lighthearted, you know, let things roll. I think this phone holder might be making a terrible shaking noise. I might have to delete this whole thing. I'll tell you guys what, I'm gonna let you go because I feel like I'm probably gonna have to delete it. If I don't have to delete it, I'll leave it up. And terrible roads. This is one of the worst neighborhoods. If I don't have to delete it, I will go ahead and leave it. And I just want to leave you with this. If you need training, or you feel like you could use more customers, or if you feel like, you know what, I hear what Mike's got to say. I think he understands the industry, and I want to learn more from him. Check out my webinars. Every Wednesday at 6 p.m. I have a webinar. I take that time out where I could be having dinner with my family, and I show you something that I'm working on at that time that is exciting to me, that I think can help you change your business and help your business. 6 p.m. So go to PSD University. That stands for Process Server Daily, because that's my company. PSDUniversity.com. And 6:30. Yep. I'm looking for 6:30. I'm all over the map here today. So PSDUniversity.com. And I'm confident that you guys are going to learn a lot and you're going to enjoy it. So I'll see you then. Turn off.